Ayahuasca showed me who I am, why I came here. Hi friends, Zoe here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to Plant Medicine Monday in November. This is when I post 30 videos in 30 days. And each day has a different theme. So today's theme is plant medicine, and I'm going to be talking to you more about ayahuasca. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys about ayahuasca today. It truly is one of my very favorite things to talk about. I love plant medicine, and I have a whole ayahuasca playlist with a lot more details, some story times around ceremony, things like that. If you guys are curious, that will be linked below. But today's video is going to be a Q&A session. I hopped on Instagram and asked you guys to ask me questions around ayahuasca, and I got some really great questions from you. So thank you so much. If you aren't following along on Instagram, it's at Zoe Ariel. And yeah, super excited to get started with these. So let's get into it. Instashar says, what do you wish you knew before going into ayahuasca? This is a good question. I don't really know if I have a full answer to it. I feel like I did some research before I went. I watched the Reality of Truth documentary. I'll leave that down below. It's free, it's on YouTube, it's amazing. And that opened me up a little bit beforehand. But I would say, if I wish I knew anything, I mean, the experience was just perfect for what it was, right? Especially the initial first time I did ayahuasca, I really had no idea what to expect. But one thing that truly helped me during ceremony was that I had a friend who had done ayahuasca before, and she told me, just breathe through it. Just breathe through it, remember your breath and just breathe through it. And I remember while I was in ceremony and things started coming up, like things started getting a little, you know, funky and psychedelic, and then I started to feel a bit nauseous and just stuff started to happen. I just came back to my breath, and that always has helped me through. So if you're going to do ayahuasca, remember my words, just come back to your breath, remember your breath, and remember that it's all love. So Crystal asked, how do you go about doing ayahuasca? Places that offer it in SoCal, and how to find places. So I've said this to you guys before in the past, and I'll say it again. If you are called to do ayahuasca, she will make her way to you. And what I mean by that is that all of a sudden you'll start to have synchronicities in your life, like people talking about going away to do ayahuasca or going to a retreat, and it will just start to become so obvious, like signs from the universe. It just becomes so obvious that you're like, yeah, okay, I gotta take action, I gotta do this. For me personally, ayahuasca started to show up, and then months later, like about 8 months later, I got an invitation to attend Rhythmia on a media deal. And when I first looked at the package, I didn't really realize that this was a place that did ayahuasca. The further I looked into it, I saw plant medicine, I saw ayahuasca, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I was also in a dark night of the soul at that time, and it just was time. And it was the perfect time. When I went that fall, it was the perfect time. So just trust it. If you do feel called, it's going to happen for you at the right time. Like I said, you're going to start to hear people talking about it. Ask people questions. You know, if somebody brings up psychedelics, or if somebody brings up ayahuasca, you can ask, oh, like, where do you recommend doing it, or where have you done it? And of course, you can always sign up for retreats down in Costa Rica, or down in different places in Peru and Brazil. I'm sure there's a lot of different places out there to do it, down closer to the Amazon. But what I would say is it's got to be what feels aligned and synchronous to you. So follow the nudges, they're leading you there. Just trust. And Roxanne, this is a great question. See, she said, random, but would you ever host an ayahuasca retreat? Yes, I would definitely love to do something like that in the future. I feel like I definitely have a lot more journeying to go. As a human being, I am not fully in my power yet, as in, you guys are very well aware that I'm like working through a lot of things right now. I actually did a Psilocybin ceremony last night, which really helped grant me a lot of clarity around what it is that I'm going through right now. And the main message that came through is that I'm in a deep rest period of my life. So I've done a lot of work I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I continue to do a lot of stuff in my life. And this period of time is called the Great Rest. This is what they were telling me. And I'm preparing for my mission. I guess you could say something big is going to manifest for me. I'm not quite sure what that is. I got glimpses of some things, but right now I'm being energetically prepared for what's to come in my future. And it's all good, it's all love, it's all abundant. But what I recognize that as is that I'm just cocooning right now. I'm in a deep rest period and I'm not fully in my power. And when I'm fully in my power, I know that that will guide me, and I know that plant medicine, psychedelics will always be a part of my life. That is part of my mission, I feel like. That's why I'm so drawn to talk about it all the time. That's why I love the medicine. I've been drawn to the medicine. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything that it does for healing and mental health and so much. And I want the world to know more, so that's why I talk about it. So when I'm fully in my power, I know that part of that will be bringing plant medicine to people in new ways, and I look forward to learning what that is. But I would absolutely love to host a retreat one day. That if I was to host any retreat, that's the type of retreat it would be, and that's been on my list of things to do. So it shall manifest in the divine time. And Justin asked, how are you feeling about it this time around? So yeah, as you know, I've been open and honest as I get closer and closer to the time. 2 weeks from now, I will be in ceremony, or I will have completed the ceremony. So I'm doing a ceremony on Friday night and a Saturday night ceremony. Today is Sunday when I'm filming this video. So I feel really good. I feel even better about the fact that I did a psilocybin ceremony last night and became more aware and more understanding of what it is that I'm going through energetically right now. And that granted me a lot of peace of mind, a lot of clarity. I just came back to just love and trust, even deeper trust in the process. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I love ceremony. Ceremony is one of my favorite places to be because it feels like going home. It feels like going home to yourself, and the music and just the healing and the connection to spirit, to source, to Mother Ayahuasca. It's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever experience. Every ceremony always ends in love. Like it doesn't matter what depths you go to in ceremony, it always ends in love. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I'm sure there might be some nerves, some more excitement showing up, but I'm just ready. I'm ready. And Stephanie asked, does it make you nauseous? So yes. So with ayahuasca, just kind of a 3D perspective, I'm gonna tell you guys sort of what happens. So imagine they open up the ceremony space, it's beautiful, playing music. You might do hape or sananga to initiate, like be the precursor into the ceremony. These just allow your intentions to be even stronger within yourself. Hape is that plant medicine that I do every night before I go to bed. I meditate with it. And hape, actually one thing I should mention, hape and sananga can be purgatory. They can make people feel nauseous or even to the point where they're getting sick. But for me, that has not been the case. But it's because hape aligns your chakras, right? So if you've ever had energy healing done, you guys might recognize that like there could be waves of nausea or like a bit of lightheadedness. If you've done Reiki even or anything like that, you may notice that you feel nauseous because energy is recalibrating, moving, being released, all sorts of different things in your body, and naturally that can have you feeling a little bit uneasy. But after you take the hape or the sananga, you don't have to if you don't want to, then you drink the tea. You drink ayahuasca and you go to your mat. This is my experience anyways. You go to your mat, you lie down, and the music's beautiful. And I would say it takes about 45 minutes for her to present herself in your system. And it's different every time. Every journey is different. But what I found is that when the medicine starts to work within my body, whether it's ayahuasca or even psilocybin, there are some like little waves of nausea at the beginning when I'm working through my own personal resistance to allow the medicine in. And I just breathe through that. Remember your breath, guys. Like I just breathe through that, and It's fine. And then you'll get into it with ayahuasca. You'll get into whatever it is that you're meant to work on, meant to see, meant to experience. And sometimes it does involve purging. It does involve vomiting. But one thing that you should know about ayahuasca is, like, I'm somebody who's personally very afraid of puking. I just, it's the worst. It's the worst. Like, knock on everything. I never want it to happen. But the thing about being in ceremony and purging and vomiting in ceremony is that the mixture of the ayahuasca tea is ayahuasca and chacruna. I believe that's how you pronounce the story. I should check. But it actually shuts off, the mixture shuts off the enzymes in your stomach, so that the ayahuasca can enter and the DMT can just get into your system and not be broken up so much by your stomach acidity and all that strong stuff in there. So when you do vomit, if you do vomit in ayahuasca, I've had 8 ceremonies and I purged twice. So out of 8 ceremonies, I've only vomited twice. And I'll keep you guys posted. But when you purge, it's not acidic, it's not bile tasting, it's not like that. It's literally just like you're ejecting what's not serving you in your body. And it's crazy because the times when I was at Rhythmia and I would wake up the next day after I already had a ceremony, I don't really like to eat too much. I'm just not really, sorry, let me just fix this. I'm not really like super hungry. And so I've eaten fruit. Like, I'll just eat watermelon and maybe like a little bit of something for lunch, and then you fast the rest of the day before ceremony. So what's interesting is that when you purge in ceremony, what I've experienced is that I'm not purging the watermelon that I ate at like 9 a.m. or like 8 a.m. I'm purging a bunch of shit, like literally a bunch of garbage that's in my body. I don't know what it, like, bad cells, bad experiences, just I purge the garbage that's in my DNA, that's in my system. And it's very therapeutic, it's very relieving. So prior to the experience of purging, you will have a wave of nausea and you just allow it, right? Just breathe through it. And if I can do it, and I'm so damn afraid of vomiting, like when I was a child and it would be time to blow up birthday candles, I would blow up my candles and wish that I would not puke that year. Like, that's how scared. That's how much I don't like it. Stephanie also asked, would you be interested in trying other types of psychedelics? This is a great question. So as I mentioned, I did a psilocybin ceremony last night for the new moon. It was amazing. I love mushrooms. I microdose mushrooms and psilocybin, and I really find them to be very powerful teachers, powerful healers, such sage wisdom. If you guys, actually, now that I'm talking a little bit about mushrooms here, there's this documentary called Fantastic Fungi, and it's available on YouTube, and it's like $4 Canadian, and I rented it, and it was so powerful. I will never look at a mushroom the same way again. So if you're somebody who might be curious about psilocybin or curious about mushrooms and all that that's going on in the health world, you should check that out. It will be very insightful. It brought me to tears. So I'm definitely interested in doing mushrooms again and doing ayahuasca again. But when it comes to psychedelics, I do have a resistance to anything that's not made in nature. So, you know, LSD, MDMA, I've never tried those types of things, and I'm honestly personally not drawn to them. I don't know if I ever will be, but what I find is, like, I'm just very in tune with nature, right? I eat a plant-based diet. I only invite plants and like loving things into my life, like greens and that type of abundance. I'm very careful about what I put into my body. So I don't know if I would ever do any of those other psychedelics. I mean, never say never, because who knows, but I'm only drawn to the plants and the fungi. Peaceful Robbins asked, do you lose your personality in ayahuasca? Do you become no one in nowhere, in no space? So I think you're kind of referring to like Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations, like when you go to the quantum and you break free of your personality. So most definitely, it's all layers. You go to different dimensions in ayahuasca. I've had experiences where I completely left my body, left planet Earth, and I forgot basically who Zoe was. Like I was seeing other things, other galaxies, other places, and then I came back down to Earth, back down to my body. So every experience is different, but yeah, I have had this experience where I completely forget who I am, and but I remember who I am, if you know what I mean. If you've done ayahuasca, you know what I mean. And so Bree says, how do you think ayahuasca changed your view of yourself? Ayahuasca showed me who I am, why I came here. It's really showed me how to love myself more deeply. And I know that you guys have seen that, this transformation in me since I started to do plant medicine and do my healing and go through these experiences. It's really taught me to love myself. It's really taught me a greater self-awareness, awareness of energy, just really deep, beautiful stuff. Like I would say it helps me love myself more. It empowers me, it shows me how to love myself more. It gives me the ability to see myself in different ways so that I can nurture and love myself more. And the last question we have here is, are you ever afraid something fatal will happen? No, not at all. I mean, when you are in ceremony, you can get fearful, right? Like if you're being called to look at something that you don't really want to look at, or you might see, you know, we call it frackling, where you literally see like psychedelic Cheshire cat type stuff and faces and like tribal things. You'll see this in your mind's eye, your third eye. That might scare people because they might think they're losing control at the beginning, and you might see scary things in ceremony, but you won't die. Like she's a very loving presence. You might have an ego death and a rebirth experience. If you know about ayahuasca, you may have read into that. So you might have like an ego death experience or rebirth experience, but you don't, yeah, you're not gonna, I'm not gonna die. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I'm not worried. Like I trust the medicine so much. It just brings me so much clarity and so much love. And just allow it to show you the love of nature and the love of who you are. You're literally drinking Mother Nature when you drink ayahuasca. That's, I think, a good way to put it. But yeah, thank you so much for your wonderful questions. I hope this answered a lot for you guys. Oh, actually, there's one more I should touch on. Someone asked it in the comments of my last ayahuasca video saying like, Zoe, I'm not convinced ayahuasca works because like you're not okay. First of all, it's kind of a rude question right off the bat. Like, that's fine. I know that I'm navigating something right now. I don't need judgment or criticism from others. So just putting that out there. It's my personal journey. It's my personal experience. And yeah, so if you're expecting ayahuasca to cure everything about you and that you're gonna be enlightened after, that's not what you should expect. Ayahuasca helps you work through personal things. You are an ever-evolving, ever-changing human being. You're always in motion, right? So you're always going to be going through things, moving through life. We all came here to learn different things, to have different lessons, to have different life paths. And my journey thus far has looked different from everyone else's, just as yours does from mine. We may have similarities and we may have gone through similar challenges, similar traumas, but we all have our own unique way of navigating it. And ayahuasca helped me learn a lot, helped me truly awaken into myself, and continues to deepen the journey, the relationship that I have with myself. But in no way has ayahuasca made me enlightened, and I am okay. I'm not okay. So I just wanted to say that, and I'm here for all of you and your curiosity, but I am not here for judgment on myself or my journey. So just wanted to state that. Anyways, love you guys, love your kindness, and I will see you again very soon.